So, how did the world get so ugly? Look at the objects around you, furniture, cars, doors, bins. How are they looking? Modern design has become boring. This video is extremely popular. People linked it to me. We're going to look at it. Here we go. I think it's all for resale value, personally. And manufacturing ease. Ooh. Oh, wow. Ooh. That's crazy. The pointy things. The modern world.
I'm by the River Thames in London.
Yeah?
Now, it's a charming place where tourists love to come.
Uh-huh.
But why do they love coming here? Well, you've got views of iconic buildings like the Houses of Parliament.
It's a nice place.
And St. Paul's Cathedral.
Uh-huh.
But
the
that's
pointy
not all.
things.
Have a look at this.
What's that?
It's a typical London lamppost. Do you like it? Well, it does its job.
Yeah.
But not much else.
That's about it.
But look over here at another lamppost. It does its job.
Oh, wow.
And a little bit more.
Don't they have one of these in Elden Ring?
It's details like
Look at
these that help make this such a charming place to be.
Yep.
But these two lampposts don't just look different. They represent fundamentally different worldviews. If you want to understand any society, don't listen to what it says about itself. Look at what it creates.
Yeah. Oh, all the spikes. That's good. Oh, that's why they don't. You don't have any of the Nevrons lying down.
London's little lanes are charming now, but 150 years ago in places like this, you'd have had whole families crammed into these tiny rooms without running water. There'd have been open cesspits spilling down the streets, and the stench of sewage boiling in the midday sun would have been unbearable. The whole city stank.
Smell like shit, literally.
It wasn't only horrible to live in, but genuinely dangerous. See,
well, they still have those.
London had a problem. It was the world's biggest city. Its population was growing every year, along with the construction of new factories and mills and dockyards. All those people and all that industry produced a lot of waste.
Yeah,
it had to go somewhere. Where did it go?
The water.
Into the Thames.
Oh, I was right. Yeah, there you go. So it's a shit beach? That's it. Just dirt everywhere.
Something had to be done. And it was an engineer called Joseph Bazalgette who stepped in to construct London's new sewer network in the 19th century.
Oh, wow.
Sewers which still carry London's waste today, rushing beneath me.
So this legendary bald from years ago of an ancient age invented the best way to get rid of shit.
And he also constructed this embankment that I'm standing on to replace what was essentially a stinking swamp filled with rubbish and human waste and eels.
Yep.
It's impossible to calculate how many lives he saved, how many millions of lives he improved. And he's commemorated here at a memorial that no one ever stops to look at.
Yeah. At least there's no graffiti on it. That's good. So they don't even understand. 1869. Holy shit.
When Bazalgette's embankment was completed,
it was like 50 years ago.
In 1870, it needed lighting, of course. And so a public competition was held to design the lamps that would line this new promenade. This was the winning design, featuring these peculiar creatures.
What the fuck?
It's a little much.
Yeah, this is like out of Bloodborne.
But what's clear is that the Victorians took great pride in their embankment and thought it needed appropriately grand and dramatic decoration.
I mean, I do think the stuff looks cool. Like, that's really what it comes down to, right? Is like, do you want to live in a place that looks cool or not? I think this looks cool. That's what matters.
Lamps were among the first public electric lighting in the world.
At last?
This was a radical, revolutionary new technology.
Yep.
Crowds literally gathered to watch them be lit up for the first time. What the iPhone was in 2007, these lamps were in 1870.
So they still have the, damn. Can you imagine seeing this? Like, it's crazy because you look at it now and it's like, well, that's kind of cool. But like, I bet you saw this like, you know, I'm not memeing, right? 150 years ago, right? This would be like fucking, this is like magic, bro. What do you mean you can make it turn on with a light and you don't need a fire? It's like sorcery, yeah.
But looking at it now, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
Those lampposts don't look modern to us now. They look quaint and old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Why? Because they are decorated. And we don't associate decoration with cutting-edge technology. And that's a major difference between us and the Victorians in the 19th century. They saw no contradiction between startling modernity and time-honored tradition. Just like this building, the legendary Houses of Parliament.
Wow.
It was brand new once, but even then, it had been designed in an old and medieval style of architecture.
Holy shit.
Every technology becomes obsolete and outdated. But a good aesthetic, even if fashions change, can never become obsolete.
That's true.
It is definitionally timeless.
I mean, we still have pyramids, you know, people still go to see those, and that shit was a long time ago.
Those lamps on the embankment did their job. And even though more efficient and better methods of lighting have been invented, they remain 150 years later.
Yeah, people are gonna like looking at those, and I think really it's just cool, and I feel like that's enough reason right there by itself.
That's the power of good design, and it applies to lampposts no less than to national parliaments.
Yep, that looks badass. Look at that! Holy shit! Yeah, like, I mean, look at this, bro. This is like out of a video game. Like, they put all the effort and time into putting all this together and everything. Like, this is the, you know, this is like your culture, right? This is your country. And like, you want to have stuff that looks cool like this. It's true that we don't build stuff like this anymore, and there's not as much emphasis on it like there used to be. There's not at all. I think one of the other reasons is that they don't want to make stuff like this anymore because people fuck it up. That's another big component, I think, at least here in America.
And so here, in the Houses of Parliament, everything we've been talking about comes together at last. Except that this is not the Houses of Parliament.
What is it? I don't know what this is.
It's an old sewage facility.
You telling me this is a shit shack? Oh my God. What?
A pumping station built in the century as part of Jet's new sewer system. Strange to think that this is infrastructure. A purely functional building with the sole purpose of managing human waste.
Yeah.
And yet it has been designed with the same ornamental exuberance as any church or palace.
Yeah.
Why?
I wonder, like, because y'all ever had a situation where your internet goes down for like an hour and you make more progress on household chores or little things that you've had to catch up on? You make like a month's worth of progress in 43 minutes, right? Right, yeah. And so I think that's kind of what happened, is that like really there were so few distractions back then, and people didn't have like the infinite things that were competing for your attention at like every single microsecond that you exist, that they could focus on doing stuff like this more. I think that's a big component.
Well, people worked here. And why shouldn't people who work in sewers also have a beautiful place of work? That is how the Victorians thought. But there's more.
No internet, yeah.
There was also a sense
fewer distractions, exactly.
of pride. A belief that what they'd done here was worthwhile, that it meant something.
Yeah.
And the result, over a
He's
century
talking about
later,
right now, yeah.
is that this place, a sewage facility, is now a museum, a tourist destination. If you want to know what any society really believes in, just look at how they design their sewers.
Uh-oh. Damn, look at that. They don't even have the pointy things.
Just a few steps from the old 19th century Victorian pumping station.
You know what all this reminds me of? It reminds me of like modern video game interfaces. You know, and like I never really thought about it like this. Like, let me see here. Look at this interface. Like, compare this. Like, this is the same difference like video games, right? Is you compare like Diablo Immortal or Diablo 4 to this, right? Like you got something like this going on, and like it's a totally different universe, totally different world, right? And like it's just the style and like the effort that's put into it is just so much better. It's so much 1,000 fucking times better. And I go back and I think about this, and that's another thing too, is that I always think about like which ones do I go back and think about later on,
which is now being decommissioned, is the one built to replace it. It's not bad, I suppose, but it was very clearly not built by the same society.
Oh, there's shit on the ground.
Or at least not by society with the same views about architecture and design. Will this, like the original, be turned into a museum?
I don't think so.
Maybe.
We can make it a prison.
I imagine that it is more functional. And that it was more convenient to build and to design. Convenient. Now that's an important word.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The air conditioning?
Look at this air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
I think it says more about the modern world than anything else. More than phones or social media.
Yeah.
It's a miraculous technology. One that has changed
magic,
the world and
honestly.
improved billions of lives.
Yes.
Hence, we stick them literally everywhere.
Right.
But it's ugly. Ugly because it doesn't seem to express any belief in the idea that ordinary things can also be beautiful. But worse than ugly, it's boring. Now, it would certainly be a bit more expensive to make it prettier. Take a little time and care and attention. But these days, it seems that we would rather make more money to make things look pretty.
Because nobody has any money.
Maybe that's okay.
Well, I think they probably had a bunch of functional stuff back then too that nobody gave a shit about, and it was just there to do something. But the problem is that it's the amount of it, the percentage of it was like that. Like now, everything is functional, interchangeable slop that has no identity or cultural value at all. And the only things that we have that are from that is like from like 200 years ago. But like, obviously it doesn't mean everything has to be like that. Survivorship bias? Exactly, yeah.
So you can see, I hope.
So like, it's not like, it's not 100% or zero.
As simple as those lampposts, you can understand the Victorians in their entirety. They didn't have to make it look like that, but they did. Now, you might not think it's beautiful, but I don't think it was supposed to be beautiful. It was just supposed to be pretty. At least interesting.
Good. Yeah.
At least
of course.
Not
boring.
Duh.
Yeah, it doesn't look like shit.
In itself says an awful lot. Walking around a city, any city, and looking at its buildings and its infrastructure, you're not just looking at objects. You're looking at religions and principles, beliefs and ideas. These buildings, they don't just look different. They represent fundamentally different worldviews, clashing ideas about how we should all think, live,
the fuck
and
was
behave.
that?
And those skyscrapers say the same thing as our air conditioning units and sewage plants, that we have become a society of convenience above all else.
Yeah, it's probably true. Yeah, people just care about being able, like, I think there's also like a degree of, I think that there's a lot less people that like kind of live in the moment. I think that there's so much focus on, you know, the next thing or some sort of kind of presence, I guess, like, you know, like direct presence that people generally don't have nowadays. I don't know really if you've noticed this, but like if you go back and you watch old videos of, like, for example, you know, movie releases or video game like you know, like midnight releases, the way that people talked and behaved was just totally different. There wasn't constantly like a demand to go from point A to point B. Sometimes the journey was the destination. And I think that, I mean, really, it's kind of like an abstract thing to say. It could be kind of a slop thing to say. But I think it's also true to an extent that people treated the way that they went about their lives as their lives rather than an inhibitor to their lives. And I think that the constant fixation that people have on technology and social media and everything has turned it to be where, like, you very rarely have somebody who will, like, just sit and think. And this is something that I've always noticed, is that, like, whenever I feel like I'm, like, kind of losing it, right, in a way, I'm, like, it being a little bit crazy, one of the ways that I can tell that is that I don't really spend any time with myself. Like, people don't spend time with their self anymore. They don't think about, you know, like anything beyond just like what they're immediately consuming at that exact second. Nobody is thinking about anything other than the next thing. People can't do nothing and be bored anymore. And I've done this before. Like, I'll be honest, right? I wasn't streaming it, but I've many times, whenever I've gotten to a red light, I've picked up my phone and looked at my phone while I was at a stoplight, while I was driving. And it's like that type of mentality. And like, I know that, for example, like you guys probably all had a time where this happened, right? Where like you were driving and then you ended up just turning off the radio and you just sat there and drove and you just thought. And I feel like there's a certain like presence and like serenity to that, you know, modern life just doesn't have any sort of room for anymore. It just doesn't. You're on call all the time, focus on shit.
But there's something else,
yeah,
that we haven't mentioned about these lampposts.
Uh-huh.
It would be easy to believe that they were made by artists and that we somehow wouldn't be able to or couldn't afford to make them anymore.
Of course you could.
But just like our modern lampposts, our air conditioning units, our everything,
yeah,
these were also mass-produced, made in a factory. We could still mass-produce lamps just like these if we wanted to. We can make our offices and our warehouses look like Crossnest pumping station. We could make anything we want. That's the ultimate truth, the hardest one to accept.
People put up with it.
But we don't. We have other priorities. And that's fine. But it's vital we accept that there is another way.
It's more expensive. I think that the government should try to do things like this, you know, like works of art. Like, I think it's important to have that so you can establish like a cultural heritage. Because I think if you don't have that, you lose a degree of like shared experience living in a world. Thoughts are scary. Life is hard. People want to escape from real world problems. That's right. And so now they're addicted to Labubos, vapes, and galaxy gas. Watching TikToks made by China to make them gay.
Modern design tells the truth.
Subscribing to OnlyFans.
That we are technologically superior and very efficient, but also a little bit boring and unimaginative. And it says that we no longer believe in the idea of ordinary beauty.
Damn, that's
or
nice.
in the idea of a public that deserves ordinary beauty. Museums and galleries are wonderful places where we can come and look at things that people used to make and admire their handiwork.
Holy shit.
They're not just dead historical artifacts. These are living echoes of different ideas about what the world is. And
globalism is to blame. Why isn't this possible anymore? I think it's just really to save money. Like, I think that the best example, like, this guy is like a fucking European or some shit, right? And so like he doesn't know the way it is in America. Like I'm not thinking about the fucking, you know, like the Parliament. I'm thinking about Pizza Hut. And so you remember the old Pizza Hut buildings, right? I mean, they looked really cool. They were great. And the old McDonald's buildings were really cool. They looked great. But the problem, and I think what happened really is that, and you know this, how many of y'all know, I said it earlier whenever I originally saw the video, I say it again, how many of y'all know a Pizza Hut that's now a chiropractor's office, a veterinary clinic, it's a, you know, maybe an accounting office, a law firm or something like that, but you just look at the building and you know that's a Pizza Hut. I think that what happened is that the reason why they have modern design for a lot of these buildings is because it makes it easy to resell them, and making everything uniform makes it easy to, you know, get a larger return on investment for buying property and making sure that your building is applicable to more types of businesses. I think that's what happened. That's another very big component.
But in the end, you can't live in a museum.
It doesn't mean you can't have some nice shit.
Now, why things have changed is a significant question. But that's for another time. For now, what's important is to realize that things clearly have changed.
Yeah, it's way different
and that
now.
we've learned this
way
by
different.
looking at all the ordinary objects around us. Now,
it's also easier to destroy something.
This isn't about past versus present. It's about learning from the past in order to improve the present.
Yeah.
And what the Victorians can teach us is that even ordinary, useful things can also be beautiful.
That's true. Yeah, it looks nice. Looks really nice. You watch an AI chiropractor video? I've seen some of them, yeah. Cinematic shots? Yeah, it's a good video. It's a very good video. I mean, in my opinion, I think that really that's the reason why it happens in the U.S. is it just gets it gets them to make more of their money back. I think this is great. Yeah, this is a really great video. I didn't expect it to be as clean as it was, but now we're pushing AI to replace real art as growth. Oh, really? Wow. So they can make another one of those lampposts, right? The plastic lampposts that they were showing in the video. And shitification is very similar to this. Well, I think really the reason why stuff like this happens is really simple. It's just because these companies want to save money. I don't think there's a lot more complexity to it. I think that in most cases, that's it. And also what's happened too is that people have had so many things competing for their attention that there isn't really the appreciation for the in the present, just seeing things and observing them, because nowadays there's just so many things happening all the time. Yeah, that's really, it's not cheaper. He said it. Well, it's definitely cheaper. It 100% is cheaper, because even if you can mass produce something, mass producing something with a bunch of bells and whistles and pointy things and stuff like that, you're using more material. You need a more advanced mold to make it out of. Yeah, it's going to be more expensive even if it's being mass produced. Like, that's not like, I mean, again, it's not going to be infinitely more expensive, but it will be more expensive 100%. And I don't know why anybody would even say otherwise, but there it is.